All right, the final ritual. Before I begin this, I just wanted to honor the woman who led us to understanding the dangers of this event. She has been giving warnings of mud floods and of this eclipse cross pattern here since 2023 and longer. She had a feeling, and she's had multiple visions of coming disasters and coming problems for us all, helping us through this. And she is still with us, thank goodness. Unlike spiritual leaders who have recently passed, um, she is still here, and I want to give thanks to her because without her work, her dedication, her care, uh, her life experiences, which led her to this to these insights, um, and just who she is. And I wanted to give thanks to her because without her, I wouldn't be able to see these things. I wouldn't have looked, and I wouldn't have been given the insights that I have seen to further that work and give that knowledge to everyone. So thank you, Livette. Uh, it is an honor working with you. All right, the final ritual. This is the moment at 6:44 in the morning. This is the moment when the ascendant crosses over Mercury, and it's going to look like this in Stellarium. 6:44. Now, for some reason, uh, Stellarium is not adjusting for daylight savings time, but in AstroSeek, you have here Central Daylight Time, and then you have daylight savings time is observed. So I'm going to go by this time, and I'll just have to adjust this time by the hour, by 1 hour. So here you have Mercury and Jupiter, which corresponds to this position here. Jupiter is well in this sign of Libra. I'm sorry, well in the sign of Gemini, even though here the border, it's like as if this is the border right here. So the sun, when the ascendant was here, is introducing the day, and it's basically going to turn the the fixed resources into are going to be turned into the jurisdiction, the experience of Gemini, which is the law that is ruled by commerce. This is getting resources to you instead of this being um, being the resources that you're already here. Show you this. Okay, this sign is all about getting resources to you, whereas this is using and getting the resources that you have. This is working the earth to build your own resources. This is going out and getting other resources in order to support you in this home. So even though this is using the resources that you have to have the home that you have, this here is getting resources from outside the home in order to bring it back to home. So this here is commerce. And with Jupiter here, it is going to be big commerce. Jupiter is the very expansive, heavy, weighty, and wet planet because these two here. Well, let's just focus on Jupiter. Jupiter focuses. It's wet because it rules Pisces as well as it rules Sagittarius. So it is wet and fiery. It is like the as Levet calls it, the lake of fire. Or here is the deep pressure the fire of pressure from the depths. So here you have the mutable cross that Jupiter owns or is rules, is a lord over, is Pisces and Sagittarius, whereas Mercury is the ruler or overlord of Gemini and Virgo. This here is the masculine axis of the mutable cross, which Jupiter and Mercury rule over as opposites of each other. And then here you have Jupiter and Mercury ruling the feminine axis of the mutable cross, which is again Mercury and Jupiter ruled. These two are the only planets that rule the mutable cross. And here they are, right on the ascendant on this day. So this is going to be a mutable day. All energies of the mutable cross are going to be happening here. So this is going to be an intense day. Let's look at the next day. As it goes in the next couple of days, they're going to move further and further apart. But on the 11th, okay, they conjoined on the 9th, but the 8th of the 9th. But on the 11th is when the energy is going to manifest, because they have to do it on the 11th for the ritual. So now Gemini in the first house, its progression of its day, it has its trine is the air elements. It's 1, 5, and 9. This is where the billiard ball, when you hit the billiard ball, and you hit the 5, it triangles to 9, and then it triangles back to the first house. So these connect. This is where every element is a triangle, has a triangle to the other phases of itself. This is mutable, cardinal, and fixed. Mutable, cardinal, and fixed. So from mutable sign, its fifth aspect is where its glory is. Its fifth aspect is where its first job is. So Gemini, okay, in its aspects to 1, 5, 9, its first achievement, its first glory is it wants to make laws. Its pride aspect. This is its pride aspect, and then from there it goes on to its religious connotation. This is a perspective. This is pride, perspective, and then drive. Drive, pride, perspective. Drive, pride, perspective. So, so it's pride. Its first aspect is pride. So in Gemini's fifth house, it wants to make laws. This is his first work on the masculine element of air. Its first work is to make laws after it has performed the duties on the feminine aspect of the mutable cross. Virgo is also ruled by Mercury. So Mercury's first pride is to make laws after Mercury has done the work here in Virgo on its feminine aspect. Because Mercury, as a masculine force in mutable energy, its first challenge is being feminine. Just like here, Jupiter's aspect is masculine, and its first challenge is its feminine aspect. So Mercury, after it's done its feminine aspect, which is performing the duties of interaction for growth, okay, Gemini's first pride moment is thinking it can make laws after it has done the work here in Virgo. It thinks it can direct nature after it has performed nature. when Gemini is only about experiencing nature and its laws, not pushing it, not making laws. This is where this is where Gemini wants to run to. After it is done doing the feminine work, it runs to here. Um, this is where Gemini, the runner, prefers to go to run to personify Venus. After it has done the work that Venus wants it to do, which is here, it interacts with the earth in order to grow something. But he thinks because he does the work, he has the code of life. But Venus has the code of life. Venus has the equation of life. She is the governor of life at night. She cannot document her achievements, though. Mercury documents the achievements. He is the documenter. What do I mean by this? Mercury has 22 retrograde loops it makes around the entire zodiac before it comes back and repeats the pattern. Let me show you that. Here, curves of planetary motion in geocentric perspective. Epitrochoids. Mercury, geocentric path. Here we go. I'm going to speed up a little bit. Start. One. Too fast. Sorry about that. Clear. Start. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. 22 loops that it makes to complete the entire zodiac before it comes back to the original position. This takes about 7 years to do. 7 years, yep. So each one of these is the apparent motion of Mercury in our night sky over the course of 7 years. It makes 22 loops around the fixed zodiac. That's what I mean by the documenter. So Mercury has 22 retrograde loops it makes around the entire zodiac before it comes back and repeats the pattern. Do you think this wasn't noticed in the heavens? The Hebrew alphabet has 22 letters, but I won't go into that. In Virgo, back to here, in Virgo, Mercury performs the duties of nature. He is also the throat chakra, which is the voice. But in the body, he's part of a team. In the body, he's part of a team. What these priests do to Mercury is they use his faculties and sensitivities of experience to be the only true God. They make sure that the God of experience is all that you experience. And then when you have no concept of what you're doing, the Gemini will come here and think because it knows all about experience, he can start directing laws. This is where Aries, the cardinal fire, turns into fixed fire, so that he settles in to here. Just as Gemini will settle into pushing laws because it has experienced. But they make sure that their God is Mercury experiencing things. They make him the cardinal power of voice because of this trine to Libra. If Venus can be the house of the book and the library, which is here, then Mercury can be the house of creating voice. That's their thinking. Voice, because of the throat chakra.